This is like a wall. This is steep. Okay, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we have no idea about this. This is a bit of a 2-track. Over here might work. Anything like it. I don't know what it is. It's right there. I don't know. Oh yeah, they're like a rounded out, folded up leaf of...
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what that is.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were, so I decided not to touch them.
Uh-oh, should I have not done that? A little late now.
Now you told me, Linda.
Well, with hot, tired feet and camp right below us, we're making our way down the hill here like a horse that knows it's got a feed bag waiting for him, because it's lunchtime. Well, Linda's making lunch and I just stepped in to show you what she's making. It's polenta, chopped onions, and a couple of sausages. And in this case, the sausages we're using are, we just found them, we don't know if they're any good or not. Bought them at Walmart, Rancher's Premium Smokehouse Brisket Burnt Ends. Beef and pork smoked sausage. Well, I guess we'll see if it's good or not. Oh, and of course, it all gets covered in marinara sauce. So it's one of our favorite one-pan meals. And all you have to do is heat it up. You don't have to cook anything. And that's what it looks like.
So I did brown the sweet onions and the sausage, just to give them that flavor. And then you add in your chopped up chunks of polenta and your sauce.
It looks delicious.
Yeah. I added a little bit of salt, but we sweat a lot today. Okay.
Let's eat.
Yep.
Only one pot to wash. And that sausage was excellent. It was actually chopped brisket and pork, and you could tell the brisket was in there. It was good. So I guess it was worth the extra that we paid for it. Earlier when we came in, I turned around in this spot right here, but I got some brush and I brushed out our tracks, so I didn't leave any scars there. Tracks in the desert tend to stay. So I'm not going to brush out my tracks on the road here, but anything off the road I will. I'm going down to check out that spring that Linda saw. She says it might just be a seep. She didn't know, but I'm going to go down to the road and check that out. Okay, here's what she saw. Can you see it? It's that really green area right there straight ahead. We're going to go check that out. Tall grass and snakes go hand in hand. I'm making plenty of noise. But yeah, that's a lot of lush green grass. It may not be a running spring. It might just be a seep. That's also valuable though. You can dig out a seep and it can be a valuable water source. We did that on our property in Montana that we used to have. We had several running springs, but up above our trailer was a seep. And we dug it out and we were getting about a gallon of water every minute or something, and we got nice pure water out of that seep, and we just piped it down to the trailer. Worked really well. Okay, this is definitely a seep here, and man, that grass is thick. Heavy green grass like this growing in a desert area, yeah, there's water here. Nothing dripping out of the rocks though. But look at everything growing on the rocks. This is definitely a moist area. Well, yeah, my guess is if you dig here, you'd find water. But isn't this a beautiful area? Very pretty. What a nasty looking stem with such a beautiful little flower. I see there's a bee in there gathering some nectar. We're a couple hundred yards back off the road here. Nice and private. Had to really work hard at getting the trailer park though level. It was all sloped, but we did okay. We're gonna stay here tomorrow. I got some editing to do on a video. And the day after that, we're gonna drive out of here and head for an area called Monument Canyon. Well, we're packing up this morning, getting ready to leave this beautiful camp. It's been nice. We've been here for, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights, I guess. And we've enjoyed it. Did some hiking in the area. It was fun. It's a little less buggy and a little less hot here because we're up about 7,000 feet. Still plenty of bugs though. The idea is to continue up the dirt road, which goes up to the top of a pass, and then work our way down the other side, a couple of roads, till we end up at a place called Monument Canyon. This is all south of Ely, Nevada. So that's the plan. Plans can change depending on the road. We'll see what it's like. Just a little narrow getting out of here. Well, we're just going to go slow. It's mainly pretty good, except for once in a while there'll be a big rock or a rut or something that we got to really creep through, but
Looks like we just wind through these hills until we come out the other side, yeah?
well, it goes up to a pass. We're going to rise 1,000 feet here before we reach the pass.
What were we at?
We were about 6,000. We were right about 7,000 where we were,
Yeah,
6,900. But the top is like 8,200. So, yeah, we're going to go up pretty good here. Well, we've been going up the road now for about a half an hour, and we haven't found any other places to camp. So we're really feeling like we did the right thing by going up that 1-2 track that we found. I know there's places to camp on top, and that was our first intention, but we're glad we didn't, because our first night here we got hit by that lightning storm, and it was pretty violent. Before we came in here, I did this entire road on Google Earth, just scrolling up it slowly and looking at everything. Of course, you can't tell the steepness, you can't see the ruts really very well or anything. Google Earth is so much better than it was 10 years ago, though. The images are a lot more clear. Yeah. Linda just cautioned me to go slower because the trailer is bouncing pretty good, so we'll go slower. Well, we reached the top. This is looking down the other side. And I had seen on Google Earth that there was some places to camp up here on the very top. And this would have been pretty nice because it's a lot cooler up here. Let's go back and check some of these spots, though. Well, while Linda shows you what's on the other side, there's a road like this on the other side. I'll show you this side. Here's a spot right here. You got a pickup camper or a small off-road trailer or something like that, you can back it in right here. Got some shade from the trees. And this continues on up. Doesn't go very far, no, from the, here's a spot on this side. We'll go back, check it out. Nothing's level. These are not campsites, by the way. They're just places where you can camp. Dispersed camping. So there's various spots here. There was a fire ring here at one time, but it's kind of in the middle of where people drive. So, okay, I'm going to just spin around slowly here. Back in there if you want, back in there if you want, back in over there if you want. I showed you that one over there first. There's all kinds of places where you could back in up here. This would be a great hunting camp. The thing with dispersed camping is it's not a rule or anything. It's just that when you're into dispersed camping and boondocking, you don't want to be parked right next to somebody else. That ruins the whole idea. You want to be out by yourself. And when somebody is camping all out by themselves, they don't want you coming in and camping right next to them. It's not the way it works out here in the West. You just find yourself your dispersed camping spot and people will generally leave you alone. It's very unusual for somebody to come up and try to camp next to you, and they usually get told, please go camp somewhere else. In a spot like this though, it's got, you would expect somebody else to come in here and camp also. Although I'll tell you that most people who disperse camp would come up, driving up the road, they would see one person back in here and they would continue on looking for someplace else because they want to be alone, you know? That is a broken arrowhead. Just laying in the road.
Hey, we made it to the top of the pass, and on either side of the road there's places to camp. And so far it's the only somewhat level ground on this whole drive. Couple of old campfire rings. Hasn't been used in a long time. Another one there. There's room for 3 or 4 outfits up here.
Well, we hit some pretty good rough spots coming up, so we'll check things in the back of the car and in the trailer and make sure everything is still secured. How's everything in there looking?
Oh, everything's okay.
Okay, we're going to start up and head down the other side. I don't know how much videoing we'll do on the way down, but we're heading for Monument Canyon, if we find it.
Look, Rick, it looks like really nice road
Further
there
up?
beyond the trees, yeah.
I guess we'll find out. Well, once again, this is the Mount Grafton Wilderness area, and there really aren't places to camp except for up on the very top, like we just showed you. And along this road, we haven't seen anything, so... Oh, is this the nice road you were talking about?
I guess so.
This is like a wall. I'm going to have to put it in 4-wheel low to get up this.
Well, from a distance, it looked like it was flat.
This is steep. Okay, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Cross your fingers. I hope we don't lose traction. Oh yeah. Overlanders got nothing on us.
Okay, this was the part I was talking about. This short.
You saw this short part. Yeah, this is pretty good here. Oh, and there's a camp spot on the right. By camp spot on the right, I'm showing you this bit of a turnout here. It's kind of overgrown, but you can pull in there and camp. That's what they look like. Okay. I think we're down out of the worst of it. We had to pull over and stop because this old cabin here, and the cabin over
What was this?
in front of Linda there, and don't know what this is. Who knows what? Linda's moving very carefully. This was dug out. This could have been like a root cellar. Look at the hand-hewn beam right here. Well, let's go look at the cabin. Well, this is an old cabin with a sod roof. Real old. 2 rooms. Each section is, oh, you know, like 14, 15 feet long. This one's about 16 feet long over here. And you can see the remains of the sod roof. Now that would have had grass growing on the roof, and that's kind of how they kept the rain out. On the inside, they would have hung some kind of canvas or sheets to keep the dirt from dripping down on them or dropping down on them. It would have been pretty snug though, cool in the summer and warm in the, or warmer in the winter. Over here on the end is a little fenced in area, maybe to keep your horse. Built pretty rough though. That first one we showed you was dug out, and that could have been the original place where they stayed for the first winter while they built this cabin here. That was pretty common back then, to live in a dugout. So it was dug down into the earth and then roofed over. You know, you had log sides on it and then it was roofed over. If I'm correct. And then this would have been the permanent structure here.
My goodness, what the heck is this?
I don't know, but it looks pretty nasty. I wouldn't want to brush up against it. This is the one that had that beautiful flower on it yesterday that we saw. Yeah, that's some kind of thistle, I think. But I don't know.
Do you know what it looks like? The very ends? You know that movie, Little Shop of Horrors?
Oh, yeah.
Feed me.
Be sure to turn at the fork in the road. Don't miss it.
Think maybe it has something to do with water?
I don't know. Linda says she sees a well up above this. But, yeah, jury's out on what this is. I don't know what it is. Look, it was dug into the hillside, though, so hard to say. Ready to hit the road? Typical change of plans. We got to an intersection and went back over the map and saw that to get into Monument Canyon involved another another pass and dirt road and pass and everything. We decided not to do that. So
20 miles of another pass and rough dirt roads.
Right. That's okay. We enjoyed our trip out this far. So now we're heading for Ely, Nevada, a town we're very familiar with. And there's something I need to talk to you about. And that's about doing these trips on these kind of roads. Well, the thing I wanted to mention is making sure that your vehicle is in the proper condition that it should be for being out on roads like this. The thing is, everyone shouldn't be doing trips like this just willy-nilly. You got to make sure you're prepared. And for example, I check the engine every morning before we set out. I check the oil, I check the transmission, I check the serpentine belt, radiator, brake fluid, power steering, give it a good look over. And the thing is though, that I got to tell you, if I have a fuel pump that goes out, people will tell me I should have carried a spare fuel pump. If I have a water pump that goes out, people say you should have carried a spare water pump. If the rear end goes out, you know what I mean? It goes on and on and on. I don't have room for all that stuff. So what do I carry? I carry three things. I carry a small kit that has a spare serpentine belt and a fuel pump solenoid. I carry a Garmin satellite communicator, an inReach. So with that Garmin communicator, from any place in the world, I can talk to my friends, my family. I can summon everything from a friend to a helicopter with that. So in case I get stranded, if Linda and I get stranded somewhere. We also have our Starlink. So communication. So small parts kit, communication, and one more thing, a bucket of common sense. My bucket of common sense has the name Linda. She tells me when to turn around. So to keep us out of trouble, don't get yourself into predicaments you can't get out of easily, namely being able to walk out. We also carry plenty of food and water. We could last out here for close to a month just with what we've got in case we break down, and of course a medical kit. I just wanted to tell you though, you can't carry a truckload of spare parts. You have to carry common sense. Well, cruising down the main road, we looked off to the side and we saw these ovens up here. These are charcoal kilns. Let's go check them out. There was not even a sign on the road for them. Well, these are the Ward charcoal ovens. I've been here before, it was years ago. We came in the backside this time, so they took us by surprise. But they're in remarkably great condition. What they would do is they would load the interior up with wood. They would stack it from the floor and all the way up. Let's go ahead and walk in this one. It's probably, wow, 30 feet across to the back. It's like 25 feet high or something in here. They would fill this area with wood. Stuff it in here tight and light it on fire. And then they would control the amount of oxygen that came in here. And they'd make charcoal. Well, what did they use all that charcoal for? For smelting ore. Basically, they would crush the raw ore and then they would heat it up super hot and basically melt the gold and the silver right out of the rock. That's my understanding of smelting. But the sign here says it took 30 to 50 bushels of charcoal to smelt 1 ton of ore. So that's what these were all about. And they did that until they ran out of trees. See here how they'd stuff it full? Each oven held 35 cords of wood, which burned for 12 days, producing 50 bushels per cord. 50 bushels of charcoal.